Raw, powerful, and unforgettable, it showed the harsh reality of life in South Central LA. But what many don't know is that real-life tragedy followed many of the film's stars. Some were murdered. Some died young. Others faced heartbreak, scandals, or simply faded into silence. In this video, we uncover the untold stories behind the film and honor the actors who gave everything to bring it to life. Cuba Gooding Jr. His portrayal of Trey Styles wasn't just a breakout, it was a revelation. With his raw, emotional depth and quiet intensity, Gooding became the soulful core of Boyz n the Hood. The role put him on the map, but Jerry Maguire sent him into the stratosphere. His "show me the money" moment won him an Oscar and etched him into pop culture forever. But the highs came with heartbreaking lows. After years of red carpet success, Gooding's personal life began to unravel. A public divorce in 2017 ended his nearly 20-year marriage, and soon after, allegations of sexual misconduct flooded the headlines. Over 30 women accused him of inappropriate behavior. In 2022, Gooding pleaded guilty to one charge of forcible touching and agreed to court-ordered counseling as part of a plea deal that helped him avoid jail time. Today, he lives in the shadow of both acclaim and controversy. While some former fans distanced themselves, others hoped for his redemption. As of 2025, he's reportedly working on rebuilding his reputation and focusing on independent film and theater. With an estimated net worth of $12 million, Cuba Gooding Jr. is a man still reckoning with his legacy on and off the screen. Ice Cube's fiery, unforgettable performance as Doughboy in Boyz n the Hood felt less like acting and more like testimony. He brought real-life trauma, rage, and vulnerability to the screen, translating his NWA defiance into cinematic brilliance. But Cube wasn't content to be just a rapper or an actor, became a mogul. From Friday to Barbershop, Are We There Yet, and Straight Outta Compton, Ice Cube built a cultural empire on his own terms. Always outspoken, often controversial, he never shied away from politics or social commentary, whether calling out police brutality or challenging industry gatekeepers. Off-screen, his life is remarkably stable. He's been married to Kimberly Woodruff since 1992, and the couple has 4 children, including rapper, actor O'Shea Jackson Jr., who played Cube in Straight Outta Compton. As of 2025, Ice Cube boasts a net worth of $160 million and remains one of the most influential black creatives in Hollywood, an icon of defiance, evolution, and business acumen. Laurence Fishburne's role as Furious Styles wasn't just powerful, it was revolutionary. As the wise, disciplined father trying to shield his son from the streets, he delivered the kind of strong black father figure rarely seen in cinema at the time. His monologues about gentrification and black self-respect became cultural touchstones. Off-screen, Fishburne cultivated a reputation as a cerebral, thoughtful actor. He starred in the Matrix trilogy, Othello, Hannibal, and John Wick, earning acclaim for his versatility. But his personal life hasn't been without turbulence. 2 divorces, including one from actress Gina Torisond, the pressures of celebrity, took a quiet toll. Still, Fishburne never fell into scandal or overexposure. Instead, he's continued working steadily, letting his talents speak. In 2025, he's attached to projects like The Amateur and a Broadway revival. With a net worth of $30 million and a career marked by consistency and gravitas, Laurence Fishburne is the very definition of dignity in Hollywood. Morris Chestnut's portrayal of Ricky Backer's promising athlete gunned down in a moment of senseless violence was a heartbreaking moment that defined Boyz n the Hood. That single scene made Ricky a symbol of lost black potential, and it made Chestnut a star. But Morris refused to be boxed into the tragic archetype. He went on to prove his range with roles in the Best Man franchise, Rosewood, The Resident, and Our Kind of People. Though he's often dubbed one of the sexiest men in Hollywood, Chestnut has always valued substance over image. Off-camera, his life is remarkably grounded. Married to his college sweetheart since 1995 and a father of 2, Chestnut avoided the typical pitfalls of fame. He's known for his professionalism, humility, and clean imagery in an industry obsessed with drama. With an estimated net worth of $6 million in 2025, Morris Chestnut continues to inspire both as an actor and as a symbol of Black excellence done right. Nia Long made her mark as Brandy, the smart, self-assured girlfriend of Trey Styles. Her performance was elegant and grounded, balancing the film's chaos with clarity. She represented the kind of young Black woman rarely seen in early 90s films, confident, intellectual, and deeply human. Over the decades, Nia became a cornerstone of Black cinema, starring in Love Jones, Soul Food, The Best Man, and Big Mama's House. But behind her serene presence were moments of deep personal pain. In 2022, Long endured a public heartbreak when her fiancé, NBA coach Ime Udoka, was embroiled in a cheating scandal. The betrayal, amplified by media scrutiny, led to their split after more than a decade together. Despite the emotional toll, Nia emerged with grace, leaning on her son and a deep-rooted sense of self. Today, she continues to act, speak out, and mentor young women in the industry. With a net worth of $7 million and a career built on resilience, intelligence, and timeless beauty, Nia Long remains a beloved figure in Hollywood and a lasting symbol of strength. Though her screen time in Boyz and the Hood was brief, Regina King's performance as Shalika hinted at a fire that would one day set Hollywood ablaze. That role marked the beginning of one of the most remarkable trajectories in Black cinematic history. From 227 to Poetic Justice, and later Jerry Maguire, King carved out a niche as a deeply expressive, emotionally honest actress. But it was her stunning performance in If Beale Street Could Talk which won her a long-overdue Academy Award in 2019 that affirmed her place among the greats. She didn't stop there. Regina went behind the camera, directing One Night in Miami and multiple episodes of prestige television, proving herself a formidable creative force. But behind the glittering accolades lay unimaginable sorrow. In January 2022, her only child, Ian Alexander Jr., died by suicide. The devastating loss shook her to her core. King retreated from the public eye, taking time to grieve in silence. Yet, from that heartbreak, she emerged with even more depth. She returned with Shirley, a biopic of Shirley Chisholm that allowed her to channel her pain into purpose. Her ability to carry sorrow with grace and still create meaningful art has made her not just a star, but a symbol of resilience. As of 2025, Regina King is 54 and continues to blaze trails. With a net worth of $12 million, she lives not just in wealth, but in respect earned, unshaken, and everlasting. In Boyz and the Hood, Angela Bassett gave us Reva Devereaux, the no-nonsense, fiercely loving mother who sends her son, Trey, to live with his father. It was a small but unforgettable role, and Bassett filled it with the kind of strength and subtle emotion that would become her signature. A graduate of Yale's School of Drama, Bassett took the long road to stardom, but her breakout as Tina Turner in What's Love Got to Do with It made her an icon overnight. She received an Oscar nomination for that performance, and while she didn't win, she claimed a permanent seat in the pantheon of great actresses. For decades, she has defied age, genre, and expectation. From Waiting to Exhale to How Stella Got Her Groove Back, from American Horror Story to Black Panther, Angela Bassett has remained a force-powerful, graceful, and unshakably elegant. Despite never winning an Oscar as of 2025, she is universally regarded as one of the greatest living actresses. Off-screen, her nearly 30-year marriage to actor Courtney B. Vance is one of Hollywood's most enduring love stories. Together, they've raised twins and used their platform to support education and mental health awareness in the Black community. Now 67, Angela Bassett shows no signs of slowing down. With an estimated net worth of $25 million, she continues to mentor young actors, lend her voice to activism, and star in acclaimed projects. Angela isn't just a performer, he's a blueprint. A legend. A life lived with purpose. At just 23 years old, John Singleton became a cinematic revolutionary. With Boyz n the Hood, he shattered barriers, becoming the youngest and first Black filmmaker ever nominated for Best Director at the Academy Awards. But more than accolades, his film gave raw, human voice to the struggles of young black men in South Central Los Angeles. It wasn't just a movie, it was a wake-up call. Singleton's rise seemed meteoric, but his private world was often stormy. Behind the scenes, he endured a short-lived marriage, painful custody battles over his children, and frequent legal entanglements that drained his energy. A traumatic car accident in the early 2000s left both emotional and physical wounds. In later years, the fast pace of his industry, caught up with him hypertension, became a silent, ticking threat. After a trip to Costa Rica in 2019, Singleton suffered a massive stroke upon his return. He was placed on life support in Los Angeles and passed away days later. His death sent shockwaves through Hollywood and the black creative community. His legacy remains indelible. Poetic Justice, Higher Learning, Shaft, Baby Boy, Snowfall, and Too Fast, Too Furious all bear his signature passion for authenticity. At the time of his death, Singleton's estimated net worth of $35 million reflected both his commercial success and decades of bold, unapologetic storytelling. He changed the game and made sure the world saw the beauty and tragedy of the hood through an honest lens. In Boyz and the Hood, Lloyd Avery II played the cold, heartless gangster who pulled the trigger on a scene that devastated audiences and became symbolic of senseless inner-city violence. Tragically, life would imitate art in the darkest way imaginable. Though Avery found early fame with roles in Poetic Justice and Lockdown, he struggled to find direction once the spotlight faded. Disillusioned and disconnected from Hollywood, he became entangled in the real-life gang culture that his breakout film had tried to expose. In 1999, Avery was arrested for the brutal murders of two innocent people, committed in broad daylight with no remorse. Convicted and sentenced to life without parole, Avery later experienced what some described as a spiritual transformation. Behind bars, he embraced Christianity and began preaching to fellow inmates. But his search for redemption ended in horror. In 2005, Avery was murdered by his cellmate, a mentally unstable man with a history of violence. His body remained undiscovered in the shared cell at Pelican Bay State Prison for nearly 2 days. Once a rising star, Avery died alone, disgraced and spiritually adrift. His net worth had dwindled to under $500,000. His life remains one of the most tragic Hollywood cautionary tales about lost potential and the cost of losing your way. As the soft-spoken dookie, always seen with a pacifier in his mouth, Dedric Goar brought a haunting innocence to Boyz n the Hood. He represented a generation of young men caught in the crossfire cool on the surface, scared underneath. Off-screen, Goar was a rising talent. He appeared in Poetic Justice and Higher Learning, both directed by John Singleton, and seemed poised for a lasting career. But life outside the studio proved far more dangerous than any movie set. In November 1994, Goar attended a late-night illegal street race in Mira Loma, California. A heated altercation turned violent, and Goar was shot and killed just days before his 23rd birthday. A close friend was also wounded, and his death sent ripples through the Singleton film family. His net worth at the time was estimated at just $100,000, barely enough to reflect his promise. He was buried in Houston, Texas, remembered more for the sadness of his end than the potential of his beginning. Jesse Lawrence Ferguson's chilling portrayal of Officer Coffith, a self-hating black cop who menaces the very community he's supposed to protect, was one of the most emotionally jarring scenes in Boyz n the Hood. His sneer and venomous monologue left audiences shaken, revealing the psychological impact of internalized racism. Ferguson had a long, steady career filled with supporting roles on stage and screen. He was never a household name, but those who knew his work recognized his depth and professionalism. He devoted much of his life to his only son and kept a low profile throughout his later years. In April 2019, eerily just days before John Singleton's passing, Ferguson was found dead in his Palmdale, California home. The television was still on. No foul play was suspected, and though the official cause of death was never confirmed, it was believed to be a heart attack. Ferguson's passing marked the quiet end of a quietly powerful career. He left behind an estimated $1 million, modest but dignified legacy. Lexi Bigum brought humor and tenderness to Boyz n the Hood as Mad Dog, a friend who balanced toughness with charm. His screen presence was warm and magnetic, and it became clear that he was on the verge of a breakout career. After his role in Singleton's landmark film, Bigum appeared in Dave, Say, Seven and several television shows. He was beginning to get noticed, finally carving a path that many young black actors struggled to find in the mid-90s, but fate had other plans. In December 1995, just as he wrapped production on The Learners, Bigum was involved in a fatal car crash in Los Angeles. He was only 27. His sudden death left his family, friends, and fans stunned. At the time, his net worth was modest around $200,000, but the real loss was the future that would never be. He had barely scratched the surface of what he could have become. Thanks a lot for your lovely comment. Which actor was your favorite? I'd love to hear your thoughts.